Welcome back. Thanks for spending your Sunday morning with Arise and Shine. The Snowday Food Truck features New York State local called Drive Change. They train and employ formerly incarcerated youths in an effort to keep them working and out of prison. It's good food for a great cause. I'd like to welcome founder Jordan Lexton, her partner Roy Waterman, and Frederick Coleman, who works on the truck. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks for having us.
I'm so excited about this. So tell us, first of all, a little bit about your background and how you came up with this idea of the food truck.
Sure, yeah. So I was a teacher on Rikers Island for 3 years, working with adolescent young men. New York is actually one of 2 states where at 16 years old, young people are considered adults in the system.
Right.
So I spent 3 years teaching as an English teacher in the public high school on Rikers Island. And it was really there that I saw how devastatingly broken our criminal justice system is, the impact that it had on young people while they were incarcerated, but then especially post-release, the inability to find work, to go back to school. The barriers were so high, and the recidivism rate, the likelihood that someone would go back
to jail,
was around 70% for this population.
Wow. That's unbelievable.
So yeah, that's where the environment of that whole culture is what influenced the decision to build Drive Change.
And you call it a vehicle for social justice. Why do you call it the food truck that?
You know, I think it's a little play, obviously the word vehicle and it being a food truck,
right.
But we are, we're building this organization and this company together, and we see it as a real tool to really communicate with the public, to be a vehicle for that reform that we hope to see.
And one thing that's so interesting, and you kind of touched on this, is what happens when a lot of these young kids go back into society? I mean, what opportunities are really available for them? Because I know that's part of the reason you started this food truck in the first place.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the challenges that young people face, people in general face coming out of the system. I mean, our criminal justice system is broken in a lot of different levels, but reentry is a particular challenge for people.
Right.
So employment is definitely a huge part of something that would allow someone to potentially find ways to not, wind up back into the system itself.
Right.
But we want to not just be employers. We want to add these additional elements to really provide access to opportunity for young people so they can go on to live crime-free, bright futures. But I'm sure that, Roy and Fred.
Right. I was just about to ask Roy, if you could weigh in too. I mean, obviously you've been involved in this project. I mean, have you seen that there is a need for something like this out there?
Absolutely, 100%. Due to the fact, like Jordan pretty much mentioned, I'll piggyback off of that. Due to the fact that a lot of young people come home, they're released from the system, they have felony convictions, your options are very limited. It's not just a young people thing, it's just a formerly incarcerated thing.
Right.
Once you're released, you have these black eyes that you walk with that society might not see until you go on a job interview, and you can rock the interview, you can do an excellent job,
right.
but at the end of the day, you got to check, yes, you've been convicted of a felony, and it's like that automatic discrimination begins.
Right.
So, yes.
And it's interesting, too, that a lot of times, people formerly who were incarcerated, they can't go back to where they were living because there are rules about, not going back to the place where the crime occurred. So first of all, I also want to talk about the food truck. What kind of food do you guys serve on it?
So we are a maple syrup themed food truck. It's a French Canadian style. All of our product comes from upstate New York farms and local purveyors. New York is actually a huge maple syrup provider. So yeah, so we actually source entirely locally. So we do our maple grilled cheese is our biggest seller. Yeah, but we do maple fried Brussels sprouts with smoked rib, little pancake balls as well, and we try and stretch what people think of when they think of maple syrup.
Well, I know that we have a video. We had some people from our show who stopped by to your food truck, and so let's take a look at that.
My first time at the Snowday Food Truck. I had the pesto grilled cheese and the butternut squash soup.
I was invited here by friends, and I wanted to check it out. And I had the chocolate chip pancake poppers. They were awesome. They're like little round pancakes. They're like little balls. Just pop in your mouth. They were really good.
So we thought it'd be great to come and bring our dog and enjoy the good food.
A smoked rib, maple grilled cheese. I think we're all just really carnivores, so that's why smoked rib wins, and it's amazing.
That is so cool. I totally need to come and visit you guys.
That's great, yeah.
So also we should mention that you guys won the Vendy Rookie of the Year Award, which is a big deal in New York City. So congratulations about that.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I want to talk to Frederick because you obviously work on the food truck. Tell me about some of the things you do. I know you were telling me just now while we were watching the video that you come up with some of the ideas for the food. And how has working on the food truck changed your life or been a positive experience for you?
Seeing as like I've always had a passion for cooking, and it's presented me with having a work on-job experience, like the on-job training. You can sit in your house and make stuff for people, and it's like, okay, my family likes it, but to actually do it in the kitchen and actually have so many big supporters coming out to the food truck, and it's been like a lot of cold days lately, and people still come to really support us. So it's like really encouraging to have that.
And if you weren't working on the food truck, I mean, what do you think you'd be doing if you didn't have this opportunity?
I would be surviving. I would do what it takes to survive, and that's mostly what everyone does. Like, do what you got to do.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, it's just great that you are now doing something that you actually enjoy and you love and that you're passionate about. How has New York supported your guys' organization?
Yeah, I mean, this issue with Raise the Age is a big issue, but we've found unbelievable reception from the city, from customers. We've been awarded some grants through the city as well, and we're hoping to get some additional funding that way. But we have seen a remarkable amount, a tidal wave of support. We believe that there is momentum around reform in the criminal justice system right now. We're very encouraged by some of the reform recently that Mayor de Blasio passed about Rikers Island in particular. But we have found that the city has embraced this, both on the food truck side, but also on the criminal justice and reform side. So we're pretty thrilled, and we're hoping that that will continue to push forward so that we can expand our operation and impact the lives of more young people coming home from the system.
I think it's amazing, and you're so inspirational. And you sometimes see a lot of people who want to change something that they think is wrong in a system, but to actually act upon that is really great. To find out more about the Snowday Food Truck, go to snowdayfoodtruck.com or find them on Twitter at Snowday Truck. Thanks you guys so much for joining us. We wish you continued success on your quest for social justice.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we're really happy to be here.
Thanks. Up next, rock and roll photographer Gene Shaw, who has photographed some of the most iconic musicians of our time, stopped by to discuss his new book, Journeyman Eric Clapton, A Photographic Narrative. And a little later, we'll show you how the studio was overrun with alligators, snakes, and poisonous toads. Oh my. Well, okay, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but really, Eric Callender of Eric's Reptile Adventure did stop by with some pretty scary pets. Come on back and see for yourself.